hyperbolas. So for this lesson, you know how to graph the hyperbolas and to find and use the foci of the hyperbola, so similar to the ellipses. We've got your vocabulary for the different properties, so the shape, the focus, the vertex, the transverse axis, axis of symmetry, where's the center of the hyperbola and the conjugate axis. All that vocab you can take a minute to read goes through here. These are your points kind of labeled. Again, we have a horizontal or a vertical orientation, and then it nicely color codes for you what the equation would look like. Okay. Notice horizontal, it's x squared minus y squared. For vertical, it's y squared minus x squared. The orientation will tell you what the transverse axis is. So if it's horizontal, the transverse axis is horizontal. If it's vertical, the transverse axis is vertical. And then it has your vertices labeled, what the foci is, and then it's, notice different from the ellipses. This is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So pay attention to that. And then we'll have our asymptotes as well, and there's calculation for those. It's always going to be y equals plus or minus b over ax, or y equals plus or minus a over bx. So it's important to know whether it's horizontal or vertical. You can get that from looking at it, or from paying attention to the equations, kind of the information they're giving you. So let's check one out. So we have a hyperbola. It's centered at 0, 0. So I can eliminate this third column here and just focus on the one in the middle. And it says it has vertices of 4, 0. So if you're looking through, the horizontal ones are a number then the 0. So it means that this must be vertical because that's the one that has the vertices of, it must be horizontal because that's the one that has a number and then 0. We have 4, 0. So this is horizontal, okay, and it helps, don't try and keep all that information in your head. As soon as you get that, write it down. It's horizontal. We know that A equals 4, and it says has a focus of 5, 0, so that means that C equals 5, okay? So what's missing, if I want to write the equation, I need A and B. They gave me A and C, but I can find B using that C squared equals a squared plus b squared. So 5 squared is 25, 4 squared is 16. So 3 equals b. Okay, and then you can substitute into your equation. Okay, it's horizontal, so it's x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. Our a was 4, so 4 squared is 16. Our b we just found is 3, so 3 squared is 9. There's your equation. Okay. This one, they give you the equation, and you're going to interpret the pieces. Just like the ellipses, these are all equal to 1, and this equation is not equal to 1. So that's your first step to get it equal to 1. So they've divided everything by 63. And then you need to simplify 9 over 63. You can use the calculator if you need help with that. Pull it down. 9 over 63. Math fraction, so you get a 7, and then 7 over 63, get a 9. This equation is y squared minus x squared, so that means that it's vertical. Okay, note that as well. This means that a squared equals 7 and b squared equals 9. So you can find a is the square root of 7. That doesn't simplify anymore. And b is going to be 3. And then we use c squared equals a squared plus b squared to find c. And then they're filling in all those pieces to graph it. So you have your vertices at 0 and plus or minus square root of 7. That's about a little bit more than 2.5. where your foci points are, 4, 4, -4, -4. You can calculate the slopes. We don't need to do that on the assessments, and the asymptotes as well. You also can graph it as long as you solve for y. So you can graph those on the calculator too, see what it looks like. All right. Number 3, modeling with a hyperbola. Communications, the graph will show you a 2-dimensional view of a satellite dish. The focus is located at F1. Okay, so they've labeled that here. The receiving device is located at the bottom of the dish, which is at F2. The rays are reflected by the first reflector, so there's one curve here, and it's reflected toward F1 and then back again. And that's the blue curve. So what kind of curve is the second reflector? Well, these are hyperbolas, right? They match the same shapes we've been using. And then to find the vertex, they tell you the vertex of the second reflector is 3 inches from F1 and 21 inches from F2. So they've given you the distances there. So that's the foci distance. Okay, so 3 and 21 gives me 24. If you remember, 2c equals that distance. So 2c equals 24. You divide both sides by 2 and you get a c equal to 12. And then they want us to find a. So they've told us that the distance is 3 inches. So c minus a is 12 minus a, which is 3. So that leaves that a must be 9. And then once we have c and a, then we can use c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Our c was 12. Our a is 9. And then we'll take, and then we don't need to know, we just need to know b squared to put it into the equation. So we have x squared, we said this was horizontal. So x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. So a was 9, so a squared is going to be 81. B squared we found was 63 equals what? So you can write your equation there. Some more for you to try. And again, reach out if you need anything.